Serena Williams announced yesterday she is withdrawing from the tennis tournament. She injured her knee while playing in the singles portion.
There's a hush that falls over center court in a way that nothing else in sport quite matches. It's the sound of history holding its breath. And on a warm afternoon at the All England Club, that hush belonged to one woman, Serena Williams, 44 years old, 23 Grand Slam titles to her name, and for nearly 4 years, absent from the one stage where legends are made and broken in equal measure. Nobody expected her to come back. Not like this. Not at Wimbledon, of all places, the cathedral of tennis, where she had once stood as an unbeatable force. But here she was, walking through the gates again, wildcard in hand, heart pounding, stepping onto grass that had seen her rise to glory and now watched her attempt something far more dangerous than winning. A comeback. The world was watching. Cameras trained on every step. Commentators searching for the right words to describe a moment that felt almost mythical. Because this wasn't just a match. This was a reckoning with time itself. Could Serena Williams, at 44, still summon the fire that once made her untouchable? Her opponent was Maya Joint, 20 years old, barely a memory in diapers when Serena was already collecting Grand Slam trophies. The kind of matchup that writes itself into headlines. Old versus new. Legacy versus hunger. And for a while, it looked like Serena might just turn back the clock entirely. She fought. She clawed her way through a grueling 3-set battle, pushing herself further than perhaps her body was ready to go. The crowd rose to their feet more than once, sensing they were watching something extraordinary unfold in real time. But somewhere in that first set, in a moment that would only reveal its true weight days later, something shifted. A tweak, a small, almost invisible flinch in her right knee. The kind of injury that doesn't announce itself with a scream, but with a whisper, a warning that goes unheard in the chaos of competition. She kept playing. Of course she did. This is Serena Williams. Retreat has never been part of her vocabulary. In the end, she fell in 3 sets, 6-3, 6-7, 6-3. A loss, yes, but not a defeat. Because when it was over, she didn't speak of disappointment. She spoke of gratitude, of relief, of joy. It was really great to be back at Wimbledon, she would later say. Words that carried the weight of 4 years of absence, of doubt, of wondering if this moment would ever come again. But the story wasn't over. Not even close, because waiting in the wings was something even bigger than her singles return. A reunion, the kind fans had been begging for since 2016. Serena and her sister Venus, stepping onto a Grand Slam doubles court together once more. 2 names etched into tennis history. 14 Grand Slam doubles titles between them. 6 of those trophies won right here, on these very courts. And now, after all these years, they were set to do it again. The anticipation was suffocating. Fans buzzing. Analysts speculating. Every hour that passed without an official schedule only deepened the mystery. Behind closed doors, something was happening. Serena's agent quietly confirmed what many feared. That knee, the one that had barely registered as a concern during the loss to Joint, had become something far more serious. Tournament organizers, sensing the magnitude of what was at stake, made an extraordinary decision. They pushed back the sisters' opening doubles match, buying Serena precious extra time. A day of grace, a chance for her body to somehow catch up to her will. Every first-round doubles match on the schedule had already been completed. Every match except one. The tension stretched into a second day. Serena was nowhere to be seen on the practice courts, her absence louder than any statement could have been. Whispers turned into speculation. Speculation turned into dread. And then, on a Saturday that fans had circled with hope, the answer finally came. Not on the court, on Instagram. A video. Serena, walking slowly down a hallway, her right knee wrapped tightly in bandages, each step deliberate, careful, almost painful to watch. Alongside it, photographs that told their own brutal story. 4 syringes, filled with fluid drained directly from her knee. Evidence of just how much her body had fought and how much it had ultimately lost. Her words followed, raw and unfiltered. "I'm heartbroken to have to withdraw from doubles," she wrote, a sentence that landed like a blow to everyone who had been holding out hope. Coming back to compete again has been a gift, and the opportunity to play alongside Venus once more meant the world to me. And then, the confession every fan dreaded hearing. I did everything I could to be ready, but unfortunately my knee just isn't ready to compete. Just like that, the reunion was over before it began. The dream of watching two sisters, bound by blood and by history, standing side by side on Wimbledon's grass one more time, dissolved into silence. In their place stepped in two other names, Samantha Murray-Sharon and Lanlana Terudi, thrust suddenly into a spotlight they never expected. Venus, 4 to 6 years old, faced her own quiet ending that same week, falling in the mixed doubles draw alongside her partner. But even as one door closed, another flickered open. Whispers of a wild card into next month's Canadian Open suggested her story was far from finished. And Serena, despite the heartbreak, despite the bandages and the syringes and the abrupt end to a comeback that had captivated the world, she refused to let this be a final chapter. Her closing words carried something fans clung to instantly, a promise wrapped in mystery. "All I can say," she wrote, "is stay tuned to a city near you." It was vintage Serena. Even in withdrawal, even in disappointment, she left the door open. Not an ending, but a pause. A reminder that legends don't simply fade. They regroup. They heal. They wait for the next stage, the next city, the next chance to remind the world exactly why they became legends in the first place. For now, Wimbledon's grass will remember her footsteps, her fight, her tears hidden behind gratitude. But somewhere, in some city, on some court not yet named, the story of Serena Williams is far from over. And when she returns, the world will be watching once again, holding its breath, just like it always does.